probably gonna end with a C-section.
She did a really, really good job. There you go, honey. Honey, right here. Mom. Hi. Hi, buddy. Okay, so I got one.
The bellowing is just unbelievable. And the calf just ignores her. Good morning, ladies. Where's the calf, Mama? Good morning. I'm just coming out to do my morning checks. I don't think that's your kid. I think this is your mom over here. Looks like Pistachio kidded since I checked the camera a little while ago. Checked the camera like 2 hours ago and nobody was doing anything. Sweet Pete, I think you belong over here. There you go. I think that's your mom. You're good-sized kids. You're really good-sized kids. Oh, they're up, they're nursing, they're doing good. No, that's not your mom. She stole you. This one here is your mom. Riesling, don't let her take. There. Now stand up and nurse them. Okay. I think we got them straightened out now. Just checking. So she's, I think, getting pretty close. And then I think she's getting pretty close too. And Daisy, you just never even look pregnant. I know. There's already been times where I've thought that she like lost her kids and wasn't pregnant, and then she still kidded. So she is way past the due date I had for her, so I'm thinking she recycled, which means there'll be probably a pretty big gap. All these kids here have been born in like 5 days. I know I've only got 3 more to go now, so they were only in with the bucks, I think, for 11 days. Sorry, I feel like my brain isn't functioning this morning. Well, she looks like she's doing good. She's got those kids up nursing. They're getting pretty dry. Looks like she dug a pretty big hole in the middle here, and that's where she had them. I'm gonna go in, have my coffee. It's only about 5 o'clock. I have to work today. My husband's home on midwife duty, which he loves. Boy, am I glad he wasn't home for that one yesterday. 9 times out of 10, there's no problems. They can have them on their own. Maybe they need a little pull if there's only one leg forward. But if there's a problem, he'll call me. I work 12 minutes away, and I'll just come home. So it's the deal. All my clients know this is what I do, and if I need to leave, we finish them up, we kick them out. Or if I need to, push back my later appointments, I call them and say, hey, I'll let you know when I'm done. We'll push your appointment back or reschedule, and that's just the way it is. All right, I'm out doing chores, and I actually have Poppy over there is just starting to kid. She's not quite there yet, but I need to get chores done because I gotta go to work. I asked my husband to come and help. We're gonna need to fill this feeder this morning, but I couldn't do it alone yesterday. I went to the feed mill and picked it up, but with all these kids in here, I'm just not comfortable driving this skid loader in and watching all of them and having to back up and stuff. So
I asked him to come out and help me so I can have a second person so I can like watch and he can just pick it up, and we just gotta go like 10 feet, take it out, we'll fill it and then drive it back in, but it's just gonna be easier to do with the second person. So I'm gonna go ahead, get chores going, and I'll come back and check on her every now and then. All right, real briefly here, I've got my beef vet coming because my small ruminant vet is on vacation. She comes back tonight, of course. Her pelvic bones and ligaments and everything have not like opened up. So while she's fully dilated and she has a kid right there, it is not alive. I can tell that already. I cannot get it out. I've tried with the head snare. The opening is just not big enough. I can only get my forearm in about halfway. The hole's just not big enough. So vet's gonna come, give it a whirl. His arm's bigger than mine, so I'm thinking maybe not. She's really straining a lot, so I feel bad for her. Probably gonna end with a C-section. All right, I don't know if I said this or not, but my small ruminant vet is actually on vacation, so my beef vet came and did this for me, and he got here and he was like, do you want me to even try and get it out? You've probably pulled a lot more kids than I have. If you say she needs a C-section, do you want me to just do it? I'm like, she needs C-section. He's like, all right, sounds good. Unfortunately, all she had was the one kid in her. I thought she was diagnosed pregnant with 2, but she could have lost it early on and just reabsorbed it. She's all stitched up. I'll remove those in about 10 days. She did a really, really good job. She was very, very cooperative. We didn't do any sedation. We just did a lidocaine block. Yes, you were a good girl, Poppy. So, I'm not sure if she's gonna stick around here. This was kind of her second chance. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna bother breeding her again. We'll see. While she was getting her surgery, Lotus here kidded. Hi, Mama. I had pushed everybody out the barn and left her in because I could tell she was gonna kid, and I did have to quick go help her with that first one who has a giant head. So I was like, hold on one second, I need to go help her quick. So kind of ran back and forth between, and so they've both been up and been nursing. I'm gonna give them a little more time to become a little more vigorous and let her, she's not a super vigorous licker, so they're still kind of wet. I'm gonna go in, see how I can reschedule all my clients for the day, if it still works for them, or if I'm gonna have to go in a different night this week. I gotta figure out what's going on for the rest of the day. I have got my workday rescheduled. I'm gonna have to find some time for one of them later in the week here, but I am going to give Poppy an antibiotic. She'll be on that for like 5 days. And then I'm just gonna help those little guys nurse a little bit more. The one is nursing real good, the other one not as good, just so I make sure they get a good drink before I leave for work. No nibbling on that. Let's see, right at night, left in the morning. Sorry. It's like 11 o'clock or somewhere close to there, and I laid down to go to bed and this doe started pushing. I was watching her on the camera. She's been giving some really honest pushes and not making any progress, so I'm gonna go in and check her out. That's why you weren't having it. There you go, honey. Honey, right here. Mama. Right there. There you go. That one was just clogging up the pipes. It was backwards, just a butt, no legs. You look kind of like your brother from last year. There we go. Good job, Mom.
Two of these guys were up trying to nurse already, and the third one looks like he's making his way over. I am going to just bed that pen down. There's a couple of those cords that are a little long. When they're long like that, they can get wrapped around their legs, so I'm gonna just trim them down, dip their navels. They're getting up pretty quick. I don't think I'm gonna even wait to see if they drink, because they're 4 minutes old, and there's two already that were nursing on her. Good morning. Coming out a little late this morning. It was like the first night that I could sleep all the way through the night without having to check the cameras. We are pretty much done with kidding. I had that doe that kidded late last night. I went to bed about 11:30 and I slept till like 5:30 this morning, and then came out, checked on everybody, and had an extra long coffee hour after that. We've got a little bit of doctoring to do this morning. The doe that had her C-section yesterday has a ton of edema. So at the time of surgery, the vet gave her a steroid to reduce some of that swelling. She was so swollen from just the initial work that I had done on her trying to get that kid out, and once I realized it was just gonna be a no-go. It was an hour before the vet could get here. He was on his way to another call, and actually that's pretty quick. And she was so swollen that we had a hard time getting that kid back out through the incision. I had left the snare on for the vet in case he wanted to see if he could manipulate it out. I didn't think it was possible, and when he got here, we talked a little bit, and he's like, no, it sounds like you're right, it's not gonna come out. So I went to go take the snare off. It took me like 5 minutes because I couldn't get my hand back in her. There was that much inflammation. So that head was kind of swollen into her pelvis, but because there was so much edema in her uterus, the vet wanted to give her a steroid right away before he even started the surgery to kind of help that start to go down. Now I'm going to switch her to an NSAID, which is also an anti-inflammatory, but it's non-steroidal. So I'm going to give her that, and then also her antibiotic. She really has a lot of edema at the incision site. Actually, it's not at the incision, it's like right behind it. It's in her abdomen. But she's up, she's perky, she's doing well. I do feel bad for her mentally. She's looking for her kid. I did actually try to give one of those triplets to her last night while Mom was cleaning off 2 of them. I tried to give the smallest little buckling in that group to her,
And she did start kind of licking it off, and she was interested in it. I tried to get it to nurse, and then she was unsure about it touching her udder. Honestly, I think if I would have tried really hard, I could have gotten her to take it. She was very interested, and the whole time that doe was kidding, she was outside the pen like, give me one of those. If it was daytime, I probably would have made a different decision. But because it was 11:30, I was gonna be going to bed, and I wasn't gonna be out here all night trying to get her to take this kid. If I couldn't get her to take it, her other doe probably wasn't gonna take it back after 8 hours if Poppy didn't take it during the night. I could have potentially ended up with an orphan and have it being a bottle kid if neither of them took it then. And I didn't want that to happen, and I just decided to put it back with Mom. It has a perfectly good mother. Whether I gave it to Poppy or not, I'm gonna end up with the same amount of kids. So what I'll probably do is just bank milk again from Poppy. I'll milk her for a couple weeks. That'll bank milk potentially for my next bottle kid for my kidding in November. I've got her meds. Let's go give them to her. So I have a system for antibiotics. I always give right at night, left in the morning, just so I can, and that's consistent with every animal, just so I can remember that I'm not always giving it in the same side. Just kind of helps spread that out a little. So you can see how much inflammation she's got there. I don't like that. She's on antibiotics, she's on anti-inflammatories. It's the best we can do. Good girl, Poppy. You're kind of fat. No, no nibbling. I am going to milk her. Since she's on an antibiotic, that's going to be tainted milk, and I will label that. There are occasions where I have a doe that is maybe down or like for some reason can't nurse her kids, and she's on antibiotics anyway, and like she's producing milk but not enough because she's sick. If the doe's on antibiotics anyway, her kids can get tainted milk from another doe because they're getting it from their mom. So it's not a bad idea. I hate to waste it. And if I can get milk from her, especially transition milk, that's probably great for kids who have a doe that maybe isn't doing well. I will bank it, and then I just label it that it's tainted, and once that withdrawal time is over, then it'll just go in the pool with the rest of the milk in the freezer. I just want to show you this kid. This is Lotus's kid that was born yesterday. His head is so big. She kept like pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing while we were doing that C-section. I was like, I feel like she's just not making progress. I was like, hold on, I gotta go check on her. I pulled it out. I was like, well, no wonder you had a hard time. Your head's really big. And it didn't look that big until she had the second kid, and I compared their heads. I'm like, oh my, you do have a big head. You're a thick boy, aren't you? You're thick. All right, so we have had like a dozen kids born in the last 36 hours that have not been tagged. So I'm gonna have to do that today. It is a Sunday, and I try not to do any extra projects on Sundays. Tomorrow I'll be sorting for breeding, which means today I need to set up as much fence as I can because now I'm gonna have groups all over the place. I might go ahead and mark them all today. So typically what I'll do is I'll just kind of crowd them into a corner of the shed so they can't run away from me. And then they're all real close and I just mark them all. So when I run them through the chute to sort them, I'm not like up and down looking at a clipboard. I don't need to do any of that. I can just visually see who needs to go there, pull them out. It's much, much easier. I don't know what my husband's plans are for tomorrow. He has flexibility this time of year as long as he can plan for it, but I'm hoping maybe he could just go in like an hour late because at least I can get my groups sorted. It literally takes me about 1/10 of the time if I have a second person here and I have everything prepped and ready to go. All I need is someone to stand there and push them through. I don't have a permanent handling system set up. It is so much easier with a second person. So I might see if I can get that all like prepped and set up today. That's really all I've got on the list today. I guess I need to start keeping an eye on the cows now. That calf that was born the other day, 18 days early, it's doing good. You would never guess it was that early. It's a tiny little guy, but he's doing really well. That heifer has got a set of lungs on her. It goes and hides in tall grass or next to a bush or something, which is what calves are supposed to do. But then the heifer wants to like move across the pasture and wants him to come with her. And then she just starts bellowing and screaming. Like I've never heard a cow yell so incredibly loud. I mean, the bellowing is just unbelievable. And the calf just ignores her. I always think it's funny because some calves are really responsive to their dam and, you know, the cow coos or moos and they're like, oh, mom's calling, and they follow him. This calf is just like, what do you want? And she walks right up to it and she'll just sit there and go, meh, meh, meh. And he doesn't move. It's hilarious. So, I do suspect that she calved early because she's part low line. 18 days is still really early. Sire side has something to do with that. So I do have another heifer that was bred to the same sire. So I guess I'm kind of going to be keeping an eye on her. And I was looking at one of my cows earlier when I was giving water and I was like, oh my gosh, like her vulva is practically dragging on the ground. It's so saggy and swollen. And they're all bagging up really big. So I don't have weaning rings in the calves from last year. So I actually don't wean because all of my cows do a pretty good job of weaning their own calves. But sometimes when they calve, last year's calf will want to start nursing on them. So I usually put weaning rings in. Two of the cows that calved last year aren't here anymore. I got rid of them this winter, but I have 2 cows that have last year's calf in the pasture with them. Maybe I should put that on the list for today to get them in and get them in headlocks and get weaning rings on those because I just don't want them to not have weaning rings on once they're damn calves. And if you don't know what a weaning ring is, I've got one right outside the door here actually in the 4-wheeler. Weaning rings just sit right inside the nose. They don't pierce through or anything. It's real gentle. There's several different like styles of weaning rings. So this goes in the nose and then these little spikies face out. So when the calf goes in to nurse, it pokes the cow. And as soon as it pokes the cow kicks him away and says, no. It's just gives the cow incentive to not let the calf nurse. When they're grazing grass, it's easy because they just pull it with their tongue. But like, let's say they're eating hay, they just kind of learn to flip it up and then take a bite. So it doesn't impede them at all. It takes a day. It doesn't impede them at all. One year I had one that figured out there's like a little rock pile up in one of our pastures. And one of these steers kept losing its weaning ring. And like, I couldn't crank it down any tighter. Like it was as tight as it went. So I'm like, I don't understand how he's getting them off. Well, then that winter, I found all these weaning rings stuck up in the rocks in that pile. He must have figured out that if he wedged it in there, in between the rocks good enough, that he could rip it out of his nose. Oh, that little shit. So I think I found 4 weaning rings up in the rocks. I'm like, well, at least I got them back. Well, I sure am glad that I moved the goats out of here 2 days ago and the cattle out of here yesterday, because we have a tree down over our fence. I just came back to get the cattle's mineral feeder and grab these extra water tanks, and we've got a tree that fell down, so more work for my husband. I'm not gonna be cutting the tree apart. That's a man's job. So I've got 3 kids in this weanling pen. I don't know where they went. Now I won't be able to find them. Then I've had a little diarrhea. It's not super abnormal to see a little bit of diarrhea at weaning time. It's a stressful event in their life, and sometimes I'll see a little bit of diarrhea in the first week, and it usually subsides after a couple days, but this has been pretty persistent for one of them. And now I've got 2 more that they've kind of had it on and off. So I'm just gonna take some fecal samples from them to see what's going on and double check their FAMACHA scores in case maybe now they have a bit of a parasite burden. It's been 3 weeks, I think, since I checked FAMACHA scores. So now is the time. So we're just gonna check them out, see what's going on. Hey, buddy. Oh, it's kind of on the pale side. I'll have to check and see if this was one of the ones that was dewormed last time. Hey! But this one actually didn't have diarrhea until this morning, but it has in the past. So you just kind of go in there and palpate a little bit, and once your finger's in there, they'll get the urge to push, and when they do, you just kind of like cup that manure as it comes out. There we go. So I already wrote its name on the inside of the glove before I collected, and so now when I pulled it out, its name is on the outside. Hi. Hi, buddy. Okay, so I got 1. I finally got the other 2. The one that actually has had the persistent diarrhea is looking better. It was nice and dry, and her FAMACHA score was really good, so maybe she's getting over it. Sometimes also, if they get diarrhea for a while, their gut lining just becomes so inflamed, it takes a long time for that to heal up, and maybe that's what's going on there. And the other one didn't have diarrhea at all anymore, but I figure I might as well check it while I'm running samples anyways. Really, only one of them has loose stool at this point. Good morning, ladies. And a few boys. Where's the calf, Mama? I don't know, we'll find it. Maybe we'll find it in the long stuff here. Well, I didn't see the calf anywhere in there, which doesn't mean that it's not there. Finding a calf in tall forage is futile. I really just got this last little section here today. It's mostly thistles and some clover, so it's kind of a long story. This one part of this pasture has been trouble for me since day 1. I'm gonna go ahead and move them. I don't know if this is gonna last them for the whole day, and actually I haven't decided where I'm gonna move them yet, so I'm gonna have to check the other pastures out. Come on, go. husband just texted me and said he is going on a lunch date after church and I don't have to make lunch. Even better. So I'm gonna go in, grab some lunch for myself. I just milked Poppy, so I'm gonna get that milk frozen. I have a few things that I have to epoxy. Then I'll come back out and process those kids. Oh, I gotta get those fecal samples going, so I'll do that on my lunch.